Hello everyone, welcome back to what I watched this month, and I know I'm a couple of days late and I know I missed September, but we're just going to go straight on with October now. So yes, you know how this works, I just go through whichever movies I watched in the month of October, tell you what I think about them, move on. It's pretty quick stuff, so let's get started. So on the 1st of October I watched Panic Room by David Fincher. I gave it 3 stars. It was a pretty good suspense movie, but you know, nothing more. Then I watched Orphan First Kill that night. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was not perfect or anything, but it was hysterical. I thought it was really creative, really clever, and just really funny. And on the 2nd of October, I rewatched Donnie Darko. It became one of my all-time favorite movies on the rewatch. It's just... let's not talk about it because I could go on forever if I did. Then on the 3rd of October, I watched Jeepers Creepers. I gave it 1.5 stars. I thought it was an awful movie with awful dialogue, I should say, with meta humor being used to cover up just really stupid decisions. Like, just they're acknowledging the cliche, but they're not actually doing anything to avoid the cliche. If they did avoid the cliche, the movie doesn't even need to exist. Like, it's just full of stupid decisions, and yeah. But I will say though, Jeeper the Creeper looks fucking incredible, and he's a cool monster. And there was a couple of cool scenes with him, so yeah. And on the 5th, I watched The Shining again, 5 stars, easy 5 stars, best movie ever. On the 6th, I watched Jackie Brown again. I also gave that 5 stars because it's also like the best movie ever. And that night, I watched Mr. Harrigan's Phone, which I gave 3 stars. Yeah, I did the review on that because, yeah, I'm not going to rehash my thoughts here. Then on the 7th, I watched National Lampoon's European Vacation. I gave it 2 stars because it was a bad movie. And it had a couple of funny moments, but overall it was just... just shit. Also on the 7th, I watched Signs again. It's a really good movie. I gave that 4.5 stars. I think it's actually an incredibly good movie. One of M. Night Shyamalan's best. Then on the 8th, I watched Face Off. I gave it 4 stars. I think it's hilarious. I don't care whether it's actually a good movie or not. I think it's funny as fuck. Also on the 8th, I watched Cape Fear. I gave that one 5 stars because it is basically just a perfect suspense movie. Like, it's just terrifying. It's really creepy. It's really suspenseful. For the whole runtime, it just doesn't let up at all. Then on the 9th, I watched They Live. I gave it 3 stars because I don't really care about politics or anything like that, and I thought it was too much of a slow burn, but I still thought it was pretty fun. Then on the 11th, I watched The Howling. I gave it 2 stars because overall I found not much to enjoy about it aside from the practical effects and the transformation scene. Everything else was really dull, and I don't really understand why it's a classic. Also on the 11th, I watched X. I gave it 3 stars. This movie pisses me off because it has all the elements of a 4.5, 5-star movie. Just like an excellent horror movie. It's perfectly crafted. Great kills. Really just good cinematography. A really memorable location. A memorable villain. And it just could have been so good. But the characters are so unbearable to be around that it just ruined the whole experience for me. It's still a decent movie, still a 3-star movie, but the characters, and they were specifically written, apparently, I see them all talk about in interviews, we wanted to write the characters so you actually liked them, so their deaths wouldn't be, you know, just feel like they're throwaway characters. I was thinking, are you kidding me? Because they were just some of the most pretentious and obnoxious and delusional and unlikable characters ever. And it's a shame because I think Jenna Ortega and Mia Goth are both fucking great. They're really good actresses. And it's just such a shame that they were wasted on such insufferable pricks. Then on the 12th, I rewatched Rear Window, gave that one 5 stars again. Nothing else needs to be said. Probably the best suspense of all time. On the 13th, I rewatched Goodfellas. I gave that 5 stars as well. Again, I don't need to say anything. On the 14th, I watched the Extras Christmas special, which I also gave 5 stars because it is a perfect TV movie. It's a perfect round-off to a perfect series, and there's nothing I dislike about it. I just think it's all absolutely amazing. Then on the 14th, I rewatched The Wolf of Wall Street. I gave it 4 stars on the first watch, but this time I gave it 3 stars. Something about it, it's still good, but something about it really dropped on rewatch. I just found it just annoying, I think. It just wasn't as funny as I remembered it being, and DiCaprio's performance is obviously great, but aside from that, it doesn't really have that much going for it. It's kind of just boring. Then on the 18th, I watched Basic Instinct. I gave it 2.5 stars. This movie was shit. I mean, really shit. Like, enjoyable, but really, really shit. I couldn't believe some of the decisions they made, especially with the ending, which is just an absolute shocker. But I thought Michael Douglas gave a great performance, and honest to God, so did Sharon Stone. But that's about where my praise ends for this movie, because it was just... It completely forgot that it was a murder mystery. It completely forgot that it set up itself to be a murder mystery, and just shifted into just a fantastical romance. Oh my God, it was bad. Then on the 19th, I watched Stop Making Sense, a Talking Heads concert. I didn't give it a rating, just because, you know, it's not a movie really. But I would give it 5 stars if I could, because it was just incredible. And then on the 20th, I watched Stop Making Sense again, because that's how good it is. Really good, really entertaining, great concert. There's no songs where you're like, oh, I'll just skip past this one, this one's a bit dull. No, they're all fantastic. Also on the 20th, I watched 1408. I watched the theatrical cut, which was on Stan. I gave that one 4 stars. I thought it was an excellent horror movie. A great performance by John Cusack, and overall it just delivers the scares perfectly. It doesn't go too overboard with them, but it's not underwhelming either. It's just a fantastic movie that I'm probably going to like even more on future watches. On the 21st, I rewatched Psycho. I gave it 5 stars. Let's move on. On the 22nd, I watched An American Werewolf in London. I gave that one 4 stars, a perfect blend of horror and comedy. I really, really like that movie a lot, and it's just one of those ones that I think I'm going to be rewatching a lot in my life, because it's short and it's easy to watch and it's just super entertaining. Then on the 23rd, I watched Halloween Ends. I gave it 0.5 star. I have a dedicated review for that. I'm not going to go on another tangent. Then on the 24th, I watched A Few Good Men. I gave it 3.5 stars. Overall, it was pretty good. It was a little bit annoying and American in parts, like, you know, Tom Cruise, Demi Moore. You can't really expect anything else, but Jack Nicholson was great, and overall I found it to be a really, really entertaining courtroom drama. Also on the 24th, I watched the Hellraiser remake. I gave that one 3 stars. I thought it was pretty good. Again, I have a review for that, so yeah, you can go have a look at that if you like. Then on the 25th, I watched Terrifier 2. I gave that 3.5 stars. I have the review of that just came out yesterday, so yeah, go have a look at that if you want to see my thoughts. On the 27th, I rewatched The Extras Christmas special. Obviously gave it 5 stars again. It's fantastic. Also on the 27th, I watched House of Wax. I gave that 3 stars. I actually thought that it was a super, super fun movie. There's actually really creepy in some parts. And I think it's just the fact that it is obviously very flawed and it's a bit lengthy, but I can basically say I loved House of Wax. I thought it was so much fun. Yeah, it'll probably go up over time because I can see myself watching it again, and I found it really creepy in some parts. Also on the 27th, I watched Martyrs, the original French movie. I gave it 2.5 stars when I watched it, and then a few hours later I gave it 1.5 stars because I just realised that even though yes, it's technically well crafted, the suspense is excellent, the practical effects are great, and it introduces some fantastic concepts, I have no respect for a movie like that. Just straight up, no respect. I don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't, yeah. And this is what I've been racking my brains on. I'm trying to figure out, why is a movie like Martyrs so, like, why do I hate it so much? When a movie like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one that basically is trying to achieve the same purpose, make the audience just feel sick and terrified. But why do I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre and hate Martyrs so much? I don't know. I'm racking my brains trying to think about it. But I don't respect Martyrs at all. No, fuck that movie. Seriously, fuck that movie. On the 28th, I rewatched The Lost Boys, gave it 5 stars. And also on the 28th, I rewatched Jackie Brown, gave it 5 stars. And then on the 29th, I rewatched The Lost Boys again and gave it 5 stars. I rewatched The Lost Boys twice and rewatched Jackie Brown once, in the span of 2 days after watching Martyrs to cleanse my palate. So that's why I watched those. And then I think that is October done. So that's all I watched in October. Yeah. If there's any movies here that you've seen that you liked or you didn't like or you disagree with me on, please let me know. I'd be very interested to hear, and I'll see you next week. Bye.